Yo, we talked about the Knight's Path game and how we looked at the video and the game looked amazing, right? They're clearly trying to have that style of medieval fantasy, whereas Kingdom Come Deliverance was being more historical. And a lot of people were saying it's a Kingdom Come knockoff. And I'm like, well, that particular style of combat and style of medieval gameplay is not really done a lot. Like, you have Banner Lords and you have, Kingdom Come. There's another game that I can't really think of. But they're clearly trying to be more story driven, progression driven combat. And someone in the comments, right, just some random person, was like, well, I hope this game has LGBT fucking representation. And the head developer was like, no, because we care for gameplay and not modern agenda. And that sparked a controversy that I'd say most people who play games would agree with what he said. But then you have people that enter the gaming space that don't actually care for games or being a part of the space that, like journalists, that actively work against this space, and they try to create this facsimile of controversy that is then parroted by other journalists, by people that agree with them and work with them. So it's this false equivalency that people were outraged when really people weren't. Or at least the people that were play games. But in the middle of that, the developer of Xvado 1348 explicitly came out and said, no, we are the game for the modern audience. They've placed themselves as the modern audience, a product for them. Unfortunately, the modern audience that they've placed themselves in contrast, like before, didn't show up and actually play the fucking game, right? And a lot of people will do this argumentation where it's like, oh, I would say this, but y'all ain't ready. Well, I'm gonna say the image on the right would have sold, and the image on the left is not selling. Would not sell before the game was come out. But you're not ready for that conversation. Like you're not ready. You're not ready. Huh? How am I doing it right? Look, I've always said gameplay was king, but the market is starved for good aesthetics and again, good visuals in a visual medium is something that is being stripped away by people who don't care for what the gamer wants. Like, again, who do you think the major demographic of people who will play a hack and slash bloody medieval fantasy, who do you think that targeted demographic is? Right? Who do you think is the majority of people are going to play that game? Because I can tell you, all right, but you're not ready. You're not ready for that discussion. You're not ready. It's I always say that was cringe when I was in college and people would say that shit. It's like, just say what the fuck you want to say, right? I will, I will say what the fuck I want to say. The image on the right would have sold, period. Well, oh, I'm a gooner? Yes. Yes, the gooners have the money. If you want to make money, and this is what I'm talking about, right? I'm not talking about pushing an ideology or trying to subvert expectations or change and manipulate the market. I'm talking, do you want to make money or not? If you do not want to make money, sure, stick with the image on the left. But if you want to make money, stick with the image on the right. And again, people say the visual, oh, it's just a gooner bait. Look, if you're made a game like the image on the right, people like people will understand. Okay, so you're trying and putting in effort to make a game for the audience, and it's like the Nikkei Gaza victory effect. It's like you have a hot female characters, but you stay for the interesting story because they can actually create like shift up in well, what was it, China are actually making good stories and good entertainment. Is it a gotcha game? Yes. But it's one of those games that just gives you so much free shit. And you're like, well, now I'm compelled to spend money, right? I've been played, right? Well, I've thought about this, right? It's like, have I been played? Because I've probably dumped 300 hours into Nikkei Yasa Victory without spending a single dime. And once I passed that 160 wall, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just give them money. I've been playing all this time, right? And this is how the East makes good games. Like, the West make good games. Make games like the image on the left. They actively put want to guide have you gouge your eyes out with just bad unappealing looking characters. The East does what's on the right, where okay, even if everything is shit about the game, at least the visuals is all right, so I haven't completely wasted my time. And then my thing is like a game like that is like Zaneless Zone Zero. I mean, it was alright up until the third chapter, which was fucking amazing. But everything after that is like a Sunday morning cartoon where you have these villains that come up out of nowhere that are villains, and oh yeah, you beat them, and you all live happily ever after. Like, I'm not 5. I'm not, a child. Like, maybe that's a game. Well, I would say it's a game for kids, but it is a gotcha game. And it does have, I guess, what the West would be considered over sexualized characters. So I can't say I'd say it's for teens. Yeah. I'm running off old logic. It's a game for teens. What the fuck is Xvado for? Like Xvado 1348. What is this game for? And again, this is the question people are now asking. Where before no one asked this question. Obviously the game was for gamers, and you have good games and you have bad games. And I mean, the good games survive and flourish where the bad games fade into obscurity. But now we have to ask that question because there's games like Concord that you think are just made to fail. Like maybe they've received some government grants, and with those grants, they've just made a game. Well, I think in Concord's situation, fucking PlayStation themselves picked it up and just dumped money into it, only for it to be generic and to effectively be the image on the left, unappealing, generic for no one. I guess just for theater kids to feel like they own the Chuds. Well, unfortunately, the Chuds have the money and they actually show up to support good games. The modern audience does not. The modern audience makes demands of everybody else on what they can consume, but they don't create themselves. They don't support their games. They demand you do it, which unfortunately doesn't sell. I mean, gaming is the only situation where this is true. Maybe in TV shows, maybe in movies they do, but in games, no. and they actively dislike gaming and gamers. Like, they have tricked themselves and manipulated themselves into believing that the gamer is bad. The gamer is the greatest evil. Why? Because they refuse to suck up the modern audience slop on the left. So, unfortunately, this game is going to fail. And I mean, I looked at the combat. The combat doesn't even look that bad, right? Obviously, effort was put into the combat and the world. But again, in a visual medium, every single aspect of the game needs to appeal to the audience, not just one or two things. You know, especially the visuals. Like, having blatantly and purposefully unappealing characters is just grounds for failure. And I think we're at an age where people want bad games like this to fail, and they want good games. Like, the creators, people that would create the game on the image on the right, they want that to succeed, just to tell the market and to tell journalists, no, this is what we want. You give us what we want, or you'll go back to working at McDonald's. But anyway, my internet's kind of fucky, so low effort stream, video game. But whatever, that's all I gotta say. Peace out.